Jumbo drop. That's right. Gone are the days of the Bank of Canada being cautious about lowering interest rates too quickly. This past week, Tiff Macklem and his governing council made their next move in an effort to steer the Canadian economy towards that coveted soft landing that we've been hearing about for the last couple of years. This past Wednesday, the Bank of Canada lowered its overnight lending rate by 50 basis points to 3.75%. Since June, we have now seen rates drop by a total of 125 basis points. And if you stick around to look at this month's stats, it's not hard to see why. Hello everyone and welcome to the October 2024 edition of our Greater Vancouver Market Update, your source for unbiased, unspun analysis of the housing market here in Metro Vancouver. We put out these videos every month for your benefit, so if you enjoy this content, please give it a like, send it to a friend who's thinking about navigating the real estate market, and drop us a comment down below. I'd love to know what's on your mind. All right, let's start with last month's sales figures, which came in at a less than optimal 1,852 transactions. This represents a 2.7% drop from August. The month of September is the start of the fall market, but it can be really hit and miss when it comes to sales activity, as many folks are still getting settled into back-to-school routines. But from a historical perspective, September sales were once again 26% below the 10-year average for the month. Listings, on the other hand, continued to rise, with a total of 14,932 properties being listed on the MLS in September. This is an 8.1% rise from August, and to be expected coming out of the summer months. But again, from a historical perspective, based on the 10-year average, new listings were nearly 17% higher than where we are used to seeing them at this time of year. So, lower than usual sales combined with higher than usual listings means that the market softened since August, which is reflected in our months of inventory rising to a whopping 8.1 MOI. 6 months and above is a buyer's market, so we are well beyond that now. It is safe to say that buyers hold all the cards at the present moment and have plenty of options to choose from out there. This in turn puts downward pressure on prices, which is reflected in the home price index dropping 1.4% from the previous month to a figure of 1.18 million. As you can see from the trend on this graph, the index has experienced 4 consecutive months of pricing declines. Having said that, there are signs that things might be turning the corner. Of course, this doesn't happen with the snap of a finger like we so often see in the stock market, for example. It takes some time to turn momentum from one direction to another, but the recent announcement from the Bank of Canada should certainly help. More on that in our editorial segment called Boots on the Ground that you can find on our various social feeds in the coming days. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that portion of the update starts now.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
As I mentioned off the top of the stats portion of the update, the last few weeks have come with some encouraging news from the Bank of Canada. First, on October 15th, we were greeted with the news that the Consumer Price Index, which monitors inflation, dropped to 1.6% from 2%, which was the Bank of Canada's initial target when they started their quantitative tightening campaign and began to raise interest rates. And then this past Wednesday, we got the much anticipated news of a 4th consecutive drop in interest rates by what's being dubbed a jumbo drop of 0.5 percentage point. So what has this done to buyer sentiment? Well, I can honestly say that we saw another tangible uptick in activity over this last week or so. We have one listing which we have had no showings for about 3.5 weeks, but in the past 7 days we had 5 showings in 5 days and an offer. Another duplex of ours, which was listed for several months, ended up selling. And in general, from talking to both buyers and my fellow agents, the overwhelming opinion out there is, okay, things have now officially bottomed out and it's time to start thinking about making that move that we've been talking about for the last year or so. But again, a 50 basis point rate drop is not an impressive quarterly earnings report on Wall Street that sends stocks soaring immediately. I predict a strong month of November when it comes to absorption, but after that comes December and January, and those are typically very slow months in the market. So although it looks like there is light at the end of the tunnel, it may feel like it's taking a little longer for positive trends to actually materialize. The other psychology at play right now are sellers thinking, well, I've waited this long for a positive outcome, and now it seems like interest rates are dropping very quickly. What if I just take a break, wait for a couple months, another few rate drops, and catch some tailwinds in the early part of 2025 and relist then? So despite getting promising news in terms of inflation and interest rates, some sellers are now worried that if they sell now, they'll be leaving a lot of money on the table by not waiting till the spring. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next 2 months, and if once again this creates an environment of scarcity, which in turn translates into urgency on the part of some buyers. The Bank of Canada has one more interest rate announcement left this calendar year, that coming on December the 11th. After that, we're looking at further decisions on rates being made on January the 29th, March 12th, April 16th, June 4th, and July 30th. I am now of the mind that another rate cut will be made this December, with the only question being how big it will be. Many experts are predicting another 50 basis points, and if that happens, winter may not be that cold after all. All right, that's it for me for this month. I would love to hear what you think in the comments section below, or if you're shy, just hit that like button and help the algorithm. All right, I'll catch you right back here in about a month's time. Take care, everyone.